morning, Ronit. I guess it's not morning anymore. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in Israel. And some of us were thinking about staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning, but we had the good sense to know that things don't happen on time. And the hostages, I woke up at 7:30, which was kind of good timing, but we were still waiting. And anyway, so subsequently, the hostages began to appear on our screen. I mean, it's a kind of a blur to me right now because it was so emotionally intense. First, the seven hostages were given over to the Red Cross, then passed on to the IDF, and we slowly started to see pictures of people who we all know. I mean, I think the people who've been going to Kikar Hatufim, who've been going to Hostage Square, they really know these people. They know the kids, they know the parents. These are familiar faces to many, many people in Israel, not just the hostages, their whole families. And I know Eitan more, and he was the last, I think, of the seven hostages. The reason I know him is he just used to be a barista at Roasters in Jerusalem. I went away in a way. I wish I had been there at Roasters because I just was saying that I feel this personal connection to Eitan, and I know that so many people in this country, this was just so, so personal. And just fast forward now, and I'll ask you about your day is, I've heard Bibi and Trump, who in the past have been my least favorite politicians, and they are both, I mean, I don't think Trump is ever going to leave Israel. I mean, he just loves the adulation he's getting here. When's the last time a US president got bipartisan support? I mean, and he's just being, and rightfully so. He used the powers of the presidency in ways that nobody has since probably Kennedy or Nixon or FDR. And he got something done. So that's the fast forward. I think Trump is he still speaking now. Um, anyway, it just seems like a joyous day, but I just emotionally completely draining.
I think we all have, I mean, it's funny to say it, but my hostage, my personal hostage is Alon Ohel.
Mm,
He's the one that I'm most connected with. We all have the one that we gravitated towards. And it's
mm,
really interesting because he is a pianist. And I'm so glad to say it in the present tense. He's a pianist,
yeah.
and he just his mother is so soft spoken, and his family seemed, they seem amazing. And when how they have this, I mean, thing where on the way back in the helicopter, they give them this kind of board to write whatever they want, and he wrote um just the last stanza of a song that is very I mean it's a song that everybody sings because it's one of the last things that were recorded that he was playing on the piano. And by the way, it was in one of our playlists in Balagan.
Is that right?
But yes, yes.
Amazing.
So he, everybody, usually, they write, Am Yisrael Chai, thank you
Hmm.
for the IDF, my mom, da 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 da. And
Mm,
he just kind of quoted the last four lines of it. And the last line is Ketz li which is,
mm, mm.
the end of my sorrows. And then he wrote, I mean, that's the line from the song slash poem. And then he wrote, Ani babayit, I'm home. So to me, that was when I was just like, I couldn't, it was so emotional for me. And it's just, and him, I mean, all of them, each video that they show, I'm like, on the verge of crying. But, with him, it was just so close to my heart. And again, all of them are just specifically him. So yes, I don't know him. I've never met his family. But each of them, but it's
Yeah.
like we know them. I mean, we do know them in a way. So it's been a very, very emotional day. It's very draining. Um, I saw parts of today is the first day that I let my children watch the news where
Wow.
I had the TV on.
That's
Yes. I
big.
mean,
That's big for
yeah,
you. Wow.
right. Because I mean, we do get our information from, from the internet, but my children, I have small children at home. I do not, chose not to have the TV on 24 hours a day, like most households in Israel, just to kind of not even to shield them because it's there, but I just don't want them to have that every day. And then today it was on, like and I think it's still on. And my children came in and once in a while and asked questions, and um, the videos and I explained some stuff. So I mean it's kind of hard for a 9-year-old to really comprehend, Lily, my youngest. But it was and then I
No,
was like, am I
they,
doing
no,
yes.
they absorb. They
Yeah.
absorb it, and in 24 hours we'll all be fighting again. But you know, at these moments, I think it's like the baseline, and I hate to sound metaphysical here, but like the baseline of the Jewish soul is like we are all waiting. And I thought it was very, very draining, but I mean, there were just moments of such joy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and to see a
Seeing them.
ton, he comes home and his father, they're two parents, but the father is really, and he works at a very right-wing institute. I forget what it's called. He was very active in insisting that all of the hostages come back at once, and he was ostracized in many different quarters. Anyway, forget the politics, but his love for his son was just so overwhelming. I mean, just seeing it, and his Eitan pulls back. He came to off the helicopter, like out of the car, smiling. I was like, "Oh, that's Eitan, right?" It was
Yeah.
amazing. It was amazing.
It's
And he goes to his father. He says, "I need to say there. Lama tabucha?" I'm okay. Why are you crying? Of course, the whole country is crying when we're watching this, right?
yeah.
I'm not
I
embarrassed. I
was
had I had a huge sinus headache, but mine is, the crying actually helps clear your sinuses. So there you go.
yeah, it was I mean I the whole thing in the Knesset was to me was just horrible. I just, that's where we all went. My house. We're just like, Let's turn it off." We couldn't watch it. It
Were your
just felt.
parents watching?
No, my parents. Well, I don't. I mean, I'm sure my dad is watching it, but to me, it just,
But he turned it off when Lapid spoke, right?
no. But we just, first of all, we were just waiting for Trump to talk, and there was this
Right.
like back and forth where
Right.
a name was called, and they stood up, and then they sat down, and then they stood up, and then they sat down. I just felt very North Korea to me, but. Okay.
Listen, that's just what comes with it, right?
I
That is what
don't
comes with
want
it.
to be part of
Why
that
don't you
though. It
turn
just,
it
to me,
off?
it was really interesting because it was on the Israel, like I watched
Mm.
Khan television, which is I guess it's the national, like I don't watch, like that's what I have on my TV. I don't have
You don't
cable.
watch Channel 12. You watch,
No.
oh,
I watch
really?
Khan. Yeah, I don't have
Right.
channel 12. So I don't know, maybe I mean I just
So
have
Channel
Khan.
12, just for people knows, is people say it's the very lefty station. For me, it's the
Is
center.
it? So I don't even know. Like I
Yeah,
don't
and
watch
14 is the
news.
very right-wing station, and
Right.
13 is like PBS, like Channel 13 in New York, right?
Right. Okay. So I watched Khan. I don't even know what number it is. Like what, like it's just that's the one that I watched. And it was really like when they showed the Knesset and then they showed the videos, it was like a split screen.
Mhm.
And it was just so crazy to me. It's just like watching the politicians who I just couldn't even, I was just
I
like,
know. I
eh,
know.
I don't want even to say
It's
what I
it's
was
like they were
muttering,
it was like it
but
was
it
like they
wasn't
were
being
kind of
nice.
just, I mean, that's what politicians do, is they were, insisting on being part of this reality, which really speaks for itself.
It was very hard for me. I think I was the whole day, I was, I was an emotional wreck, and I was outside today, like in the morning, with my bike, it's just kind of, and it was really interesting to see, the city was a bit, you know, uh, I, I, I I don't want to say empty, but there weren't a lot of people outside,
Subdued,
but we
subdued.
did
Everything was
see.
subdued.
But you do, I was driving, and I saw like in kiosks, there was people put TVs outside to watch. It's like almost like there's
Uh,
no way you're not going to be in tune to what's happening. It's just, it's, I think it's such an historical moment
mm,
for us as a nation, as people, as human. It's just, it's a moment of, it's not even about reflection, but
mm,
you always say in Israel, it's like, there is this line between, joy and sorrow. We celebrate Independence Day right after, like a day after Memorial Day. And I think okay, so we gotten the live hostages, but now it's like, okay, we realize we're gonna get, the coffins. So it's it's that almost that shift, and it just kind of it gets back to are we, and there was this discussion in the past week, should we be really, really happy because of all the loss? Should we rejoice when there's so many people mourning? And I don't know. It's just I think that's where the emotional toll just takes over. It's just like, yes. But I was seeing Alon's face. It was just, to me, I was just like, oh, I was happy. I wouldn't, yeah, I was happy. I mean, I don't know, happy. I was I was relieved. I was overjoyed, but I was also very sad,
Of
the things
course.
that I went through. I guess that's what, it's not just me. I, I think
I
it'd
mean,
be interesting.
at Jewish weddings, there's the breaking of the glass, and we just moved into a new house, and we have to put up a space. You put an empty space just to remember that things, because of the destruction of the temple, that things can never be complete. And the destruction of the temple, as I've learned over the years that I've observed the ninth of Av and the day of mourning for the destructions of the temple, it's for the sufferings it's for today. It's for the sufferings of Jewish history. Our joy is never pure. Because we remember. And we know that we understand, I think, and you and I have talked about this before. I growing up in America, and enjoying, the pinnacle of Jewish life for the last 2,000 years, that kind of carefree privilege that I had, Columbia, Oxford. And you said the same thing in a parallel way about, the 2000s in Tel Aviv, that you lived a kind of life that was insulated from history, in which that pure joy might have been possible. But I prefer this. I prefer this. It's just
I
down,
don't.
you
I,
know.
I don't. I don't. I don't. I
No, you
don't
don't,
want
because
that
it's too
burden.
because your feelings are so intense that it's once you go there, it's hard to get back. It's impossible to get back. And listen, that's kind of what we're doing at Writing on the Wall, Balagan. And I'm not doing just branding there. It's like, we're so much of discussion about Israel lacks that place on the wall where you remember. And we always remember. And that remembrance is nothing can be perfect in this world. And that has a lot of meaning for us now today, but also just in terms of us tomorrow. Remembering politicians, especially religious people, especially, can't be perfect in this world.
Yeah, there's also this thing where you're going, okay, we're done.
Right.
They're back. They're
Can we go
back.
back to
They're
can
back.
we go
And
back to normal now?
now
Right.
it's not even about normal, because what
Mm,
is the new normal? But it's about what now? Like, how do you I think we're very careful not to be in euphoria, because we do understand. I mean, I think we've gotten a good look at the world in the past 2 years, and I think we understand. But it's in a way, trying to just think of what the next step is.
mm.
Like, I mean, I don't see the demonstrations outside of Israel stopping. I mean, I don't know what they want now, but they'll find something. So there's that. And
Just
then,
a quick interruption. 30% of the population of Amsterdam was out on the street yesterday demonstrating for Palestine.
really?
30%.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
read nothing about this, but okay. Um,
Yeah.
30%, like millions? Like, how many people
Like
are in
millions,
Amsterdam?
like 2 million people were demonstrating for Palestine. We'll go to the videotape later. But so, yeah, you were about to say.
No, I'm just, so it will be interesting to put ourselves back into whoever or we are now, or what is us now? What is, the individual now, like as an Israeli, as a person, who lives here, as somebody who is a liberal, like how do I move forward? And because
Mm,
it was a limbo, so now we can say we were in a limbo, but the grim reality is, I mean, it is grim. It's just like what's out there. So we have to understand, what can we do, or
mm.
I mean, it's not even, I mean, the sad thing, it's not really up to us, but I think we'll take charge. I think this new emergence of at least now we can just concentrate on us. We were so busy just trying to win this war or whatever was happening that all our attention was there. And I'm not even talking about politically what's going on here, which is just insane for anybody outside who thinks we're all united into thinking, whatever the government is doing, is okay. Newsflash, no. But now it will be really interesting to see where the energy that was in the demonstrations, in our struggle, where will it go? I mean, because we
I think
have
the energy
this.
that only hopeful energy, and a lot of it comes from the demonstrations, but the only hopeful energy is the energy that we're feeling now today as united. Whatever that means, and it's in such basic terms, as you said, it has nothing to do with politics, zero. Um, to me, that's the energy. And the question is can we take that and make our leaders responsible? To me, that's the whole question. Make our
I'm not
leaders.
even there. You're there. I'm not even
No, I'm
there.
not there. You were speculating. What stage of the
Well,
game?
I'm talking about us as Israelis. I'm not even talking about the government. I don't even want to talk, to think about them, but me or,
Mm,
my neighbor,
mm,
my friends, the people that I know who are, so now we have to,
mm.
I mean, there's always this talk of, I mean, again, we were in a limbo. So now that it's done, we hope, where do we move from here? I mean, it's to me, it bothers me.
So
Like I
you're putting it on
do.
such a local level. I'm not really understanding. I mean, how will you say good morning differently to your neighbor? I mean,
No, it's not. It's just us as people. Everything was geared towards, getting the hostages back.
mm,
And now when that goal is gone, we have to look back at ourselves and then just start thinking. We were united because we believe that everybody is against us, and we also had this common goal of getting the hostages back. But now that it is done, we have to just think about who we become, who we are. And I think that will lead to I mean, I think people are going to, it's going to be an interesting phase in Israel now. I feel it. I feel it like tickling down. Like I feel that people are just now, the movies
mm,
are starting to come out. So the art is coming into what does art do? Art just tries to almost translate reality into something that is, up there. So I think, the movies are coming out about October 7th, and there are books coming out about October 7th
mm.
and about who we are now. So I think this is a process that that is happening, and we're not going to be the same. We're not going to get back to, there's no normal anymore. There's a new normal. So I'm interested to know what the new normal is. It's going to be interesting and complex and intense. That's where I'm at.
Hope.
Yeah, let the poets come in and show us.
So yeah,
So
I
yeah.
mean, let the poets speak because that's what you were saying, and there's so much more to talk about, but this is the beginning of processing, and that's where poetry matters, writing
Hmm.
matters,
Yeah, I
speaking
mean,
matters, and maybe that's also one of the things that will happen is maybe people will feel more comfortable speaking in ways that are not deadly.
right. We need words. We need words because words help, because words communicate, because words let us pause. I mean, I mean, that's how I see it. So to me, that evolution of what happened into the arts is going to be very, very interesting because once the physical struggle ends, now, and this is what we do. I think this is also part of the Jewish tradition. Now we try to just go into words and their meaning and the psyche, and it's going to be fascinating. I don't think it's going to be easy, but it's going to be a fascinating time, I think, the next year or so, at
So
least.
reflect, reconstruct,
Hmm.
hope.
Yeah. I'm happy they're home.